See, look at that. I mean, this is the one fighter we could actually use as a, you know, an entrance video where you just speak and you speak eloquently. If there's one fighter, all right, maybe Rich Franklin as well, but if there's one fighter on our roster that if I needed surgery real quickly, I'd want to perform surgery, it's probably you, because you could probably do it, right?
I'd attempt it. I don't know if you could
yes, you
survive
would.
it, but
yes, you would. You would have all the tools with you, right?
Definitely pull out the iPad and see what we can do.
Absolutely. You know what? This day and age, it's on the iPad, isn't it?
WebMD.
Insert wedge here, then go pull heart out, put new heart in, close up, and reveal. And now go to UFC.com to check on your latest fights. What's the latest with you? What's going on?
Well, you know, I have December 10th. I'll be up in Toronto fighting Nogueira.
Yep. You excited about that?
Yeah, very much so. I think the first fight, you know, he had a few issues he had before the fight that he felt that really hampered his performance. And so I feel that, you know, there's an opportunity for him to basically, you know, to put up or shut up. You know, he can come out and have another opportunity at it. And if he felt that, you know, and I understand that all fighters, we have issues going on before fights. It happens. But that's what rematch is for, I guess. Now, you know, I don't think lightning strikes twice, though, so.
You know, it's funny, Frank, because I think a lot of times, and no disrespect, but a lot of times we say, here's Frank Mir fighting another legend. Here's Frank Mir. But you know what? They're somewhat fighting a legend in yourself. You've been a champion. You've been here a long time. You have fought the greatest in the world. Do you look at yourself in the same breath as the Crocons and the Coutures and the big? Do you feel that you're right there in that mix?
Not too much, not yet. Just, you know, the reason being is that I still feel like I'm pushing towards becoming a better fighter. I think that every fight that I'm showing improvement. And so, you know, I'm just now 32. Some of the times you start hearing those legendary status, you know, tagged onto your name, it kind of means that you're no longer really fighting for a title anymore. You're on the main event fighting another guy who's never going to fight for a title either again. And you sell pay-per-views, but you're not necessarily in title contingency.
So I promise you when I pre-voice the elements for December 10th in Toronto, I won't say he faces the legendary Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt Frank Mir. Okay, good. All right, here's how it works. It's all about you guys in Fight Club. We've done this many times. There's a microphone set up right here, microphone right here. You can fire questions off to myself, of course, to Frank Mir, the not legendary yet, but will one day be former heavyweight champion. And you're ready. You already adjusted your microphone, sir. Go ahead.
Hey Frank. I met you last month in Denver at the King Supers. I don't know if you remember. I had 2 little girls and they gave you some cards.
I do remember that, yes.
So I let you know you're my favorite fighter. I have 2 things I want to say. First is, wanted to see what you think about fighting Brock Lesnar again. I really look forward to seeing that happen. The other thing I just want to ask Mr. Goldberg, if you could let Mr. Dana White know I said thank you. He got me with those tickets.
He came through. He came through. I did. I did tell him I was some crazy dude from Colorado claims that you're his new best friend and you're allowed to drive this Ferrari and you're allowed to take his kids to school this morning and get tickets. So he came through?
Yeah, he sure did.
Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I guess the Brock Lesnar question. Obviously, I'm very competitive. I want to reface anybody I ever had lost to. And Brock, obviously, is probably the top of that list. To be honest with you, though, because of the question of his health, it's taken a lot of the wind out of my sail. It's kind of hard to call a guy out and want to, and face him when he's dealing with those things on a personal issue. It kind of takes it from the sport, the athletic world of combat, where we're facing each other in the octagon, to where now, it's like, well, no, man, this guy's a father, he's a husband, and he's dealing with health issues. I can't think along those lines, and now let's just get in there and let's fight. Once he comes out, he's able to perform, and he's healthy again, he has a great performance, comes out, I'm sure all those emotions bubble up again. But for right now, he has other things going on in his life that really distract me from it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. There were never really any emotions between you and Brock, were there? It's a team. Next question over here, please.
What's up, Frank? I met you in Houston. Coolest fighter I met in my life. Your story is really good with winning the championship and then your accident and all that stuff. Do you ever consider writing a book?
I do. It's weird. I guess I just feel like right now I don't have all the knowledge. I feel that when you write a book, when you try to share information with other people, it pretty much means you have some information that's going to benefit society. You have some outlook that you really feel that, like, hey, if I can get this story out, it's going to enrich people's lives, and I just don't feel that I'm at that level yet. I feel that I'm still learning and still trying to figure it out for myself. So to sit there and try to speak from any kind of mentor position, I just don't have I don't feel that, that I've acquired enough time on this planet yet to really be a source of authority.
Me as a fan, I think you have a good story or something to tell us, and I appreciate everything you've done.
I appreciate it. Hopefully,
you look awesome. You look good.
Thanks, Frank.
Then and when you write a book, usually you got a new list of people who are really pissed off at you too. But you're gonna have to be honest along the way.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the only thing is, usually when I talk about anybody, I try to always keep everything factual. You know, if I point something out about somebody, like, you know, people sit there and go, man, you said that about this fight and it's obnoxious. I'm like, yeah, but I said the truth. I said that he's not very good at this, or, you know, this situation happened and this is how he handled it. Well, you don't like it because I pointed out the obvious, and because I made a smart-ass remark about it? I don't understand. It doesn't change the fact that it happened.
And you're big enough to be able to see that. Next question over here.
Hey, Frank. My name is Matthew. I'm thinking you were saying that a lot of fighters get hurt and still fight. So what do you think about GSP being such a bitch and backing out?
I'm shocked that we followed that up with 209. So just validating the statement.
You know what, honestly, I think that, you know, certain injuries you have to evaluate. You have to look at it. You have a sore foot, you know, your shin has a bruise on it, you fight, you know. You have a major injury, you know, you have to pull out, because at that point, I think you're almost kind of robbing the fans. If you walk out there, you're so injured you can't even perform, and you're just, you know, basically just out there stumbling around. I wouldn't want to pay money to watch a guy who's at 20%, you know, to go out there and perform, because what questions did it answer? Then it kind of robs the other guy too, you know.
Hey, but everyone pays a lot of money. Dana said he's going to fight maybe in a couple months, so it can't be that hurt.
Well, no, I mean, a couple months could be the difference between a bone injury, you know what I mean?
All right. No.
So here's the deal on that. Plain and simple. Here's the deal on that. Thank you for the support. First of all, our fight, there's nobody who fights in the octagon who's really a bitch. There's nobody who fights in the octagon who's a wimp, because they fight in the octagon. And GSP is a world champion, and he has rarely had to pull out of a fight. He's injured. Yeah, and he's fought with injury. Yeah, he tore his whole groin, he ripped it off the bone, and basically Greg Jackson said, well, then hit him with it. So I don't think you can disrespect George St. Pierre. He has a lot on the line. As Frank knows, he is the welterweight champion. He has been for a long time. And it sucks when people get hurt. It sucks for that man right there. Joe Silva's life is about, oh no, I need to find somebody else to fight. Because our fighters train hard, and they fight to be able to have the toughest sets in the gym so they can perform for the millions of fans in the octagon. George St. Pierre would be here if he could. And the fact of the matter is he always has been. This is one little mistake that was made. It was an accident, not even a mistake, pardon me. It's an accident in training. He will live to fight another day and be George St. Pierre. So give GSP a big round of applause.
Actually, real quick, to add to that, on the other end of it, I'll be honest with you, if I find out that my opponent is severely injured and he's still going to show up, I don't want him to. I'd rather pull out and replace with somebody else. I don't want to face a guy at the end of it, because it takes, I've experienced that with the whole Nogueira rhetoric afterwards, that, well, you have staff, you have this. I'll tell you from the other point of view, it sucks, because it's like, yeah, you beat him, but that sucks. Who wants to do that? You have to perform, you have victory, you hear that, yeah, but the guy had a torn this, he had a broken this. It's like, well, then stay home, put someone else in that's healthy and hungry. I'll fight him.
Fair enough. 209, Rock. Can't wait to see Nick back in the octagon. Next question.
Hey Frank, my name is Galli. I'm from Toronto. I already have tickets for 140, but I was just wondering if I could be a part of your walkout team in UFC 140 Toronto when you beat Nogueira for the second time.
You know, it's funny, if the UFC would allow us to be kind of like the boxing, and you see like 50 guys walk out, we can make it easy, but right now they have it down to, you know, the way the commissions work, you get like 3 dudes.
Doesn't Favor actually have like a contest where somebody wins and gets to walk out with him?
Favor's better than I am, so he can give up. I need all the help I can get, man.
Oh, I'm not the corner, just the walkout.
Well, we can talk about it. Hey, the best person you can hold of is Mrs. Mir at the Twitter. That's my wife. She's way better than I am. She's always on it. Like, she sits there and tells me, you gotta call this person. I'm like, all right, babe. You get a hold of her ear, you got me definitely, well, not my ear.
Well, good luck man. We'll see you.
Thank you so much.
For me, usually it's after a night out, and Kim says, you need to call him and apologize. Well, what did I do? You need to call her and apologize. I was rude to her. Wait, really? I guess I was overserved.
See, I was getting the opposite. Like, you were way too friendly, and you tied that poor guy's ear.
So see where we'd be a perfect combination. Next up over here, please.
Yo, what's up, Frank?
How's it going?
What's up, Mike?
How are you, bud?
Hey, I'm Daniel from Atlanta. I was actually at the Houston event. You guys need to come back to Atlanta, ASAP.
You're confusing me right now. You're Atlanta, you're in Houston, what do you want to say to that?
Anyways,
I got it.
My question for Frank. So you pretty much faced everyone in the heavyweight division, except Kane and Junior. How do you feel about a potential matchup with both of them? How do you match up?
Well, I mean, right now, those are the 1 and 2 guys in the division. I think that, Dos Santos is one of the best boxers we have in the UFC. I feel that if I were to strike with him, I feel like a little bit more well-rounded as far as he has better hands, but I incorporate more knees, kicks, elbows to try to be more range of attacks. On the ground, I don't know about Dos Santos. He's very good at escaping as far as what he's capable of doing there. He's able to keep it on his feet. He's won a lot of fights there. Velasquez, I think, is a pain in the butt for anybody to face. I think the fact that he's so well-rounded, he has good hands, good head movement, great takedowns. Obviously, with Brock, he threw him around like nobody's done that yet. Velasquez, the one thing he has going on, it's the scariest thing for any heavyweight to face is cardio. Because all of us kind of know, it's like, well, I might get tired, the other guy's going to get tired too. If you fight Velasquez, that can't really be a factor in your mind. You're like, I might get tired, this guy's not. So I think they're both scary outcomes.
Cool. One more question. What kind of hair gel do you use?
There's a brown vodka guy, white buys. I have no idea what it says on there.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The good news about a fight with Kane or Junior, we'd probably be fighting for the title again. So that's obviously a matchup you'd love to have happen.
Yeah, no, obviously, I think that anybody in the UFC, we're very competitive. You want to test yourself all the time. And those two are the 2 best right now in our division. I'd be lying to you if I told you I didn't want to, I don't fantasize about matchups. When I'm in the gym thinking about different moves, even if I'm facing Nogueira, we still talk about, and by the way, make sure you don't do this because if you were to face Velasquez, this opponent might take advantage of it because, that's not his strength. But this opponent would. We always fight in training camp, and you always approach every position like you're facing the best guy in that division at that position. You don't sit there and train down to an opponent, you train up to all your opponents.
It's interesting. You've been in the heavyweight division just about as long as anybody. And Dana said years ago, I'm going to get the heavyweight division back to where it should be in the UFC. And man, if Dana White delivered on that, we have a stacked UFC heavyweight division.
Obviously, the addition of Alex Rover and getting over. Right now, pretty much between, I can't think of really of a heavyweight right now in the world who's not under a Zuffa banner that is of any kind of significance right now.
Just like Dana said it would happen. Thank you, Dana White. Next question over here.
Hey, Frank, thanks for coming out. I read an article recently that said you were vegan, I believe, for about a year, and that now you're doing paleo, and I was just wondering if you're still doing that and how it's affecting you as an athlete. I've been doing it for about a year, and I love it, so I'm just curious.
It's been easier for me it's been catch-22. I've been getting injured less. I noticed when I was the vegan, I seem to keep having the weirdest thing, muscle pulls, strains, and actually finally, first what got me to become a vegan was I was doing life insurance, and my cholesterol was all bad. So I'm like, this is bad, I have kids, I want to stay around for a little while. So I went and, all the vegan, no animal products, plant-based food. Okay. And so I tried that, but then it was sparring one night and I had to get stitches. So I walked into the Centennial Hospital, writing down my stuff, and, they did a blood pressure test on me. Like, man, your blood pressure was really bad. I'm just like, I work out twice a day. How could my blood pressure be this bad? Worse than it's ever been my whole life, because obviously I get tested all the time medically. Blew my mind, and I got the Rob Wolf book, I just got to read that, and it was explaining how the high carb diet basically was boosting my insulin levels, and all the things I was complaining about were actually happening. So that's when I decided to go ahead and give it a shot. That's the thing, a lot of people, we read all these different books on different theories, but then they don't test them out for yourself. And so I've always been pretty good about giving it, if someone says, hey, try vegan, I'll jump into 100%. And now it's the paleo diet, which is really fairly easy. It's so much easier and less explanation. That's the one thing I love about it the most, because now when I go out and eat with people, I don't have to sit there when I order food. It's always a topic of conversation. You don't eat beans. Really, you don't eat it. Every time I do it, I'm having this conversation 3 times a day. Stop. But with the paleo diet, it's pretty much easy. Because, you're eating meat, vegetables, and you're just like, oh, a little bit of bread. No, I'm good. I'll hold it back. Watch my weight. And that just cuts the conversation short. So it's actually a little more pleasant to be out.
Cool. Thank you so much, Frank.
Thank you very much. I think we all want the Dolce diet of the world to be a more beautiful place.
It's pretty smart.
He is pretty smart. He is doing a great job. He's got Thiago Alves next week in England, and of course, Matt Mitchell has worked with him on the cards for all night. Next question.
Hi, Mike. Hi, Frank.
How are you, bud?
Big fan. My question is, I just wanted to know what motivates you to keep fighting. You being the champ, I'm guessing you're not short of any money. Is it that you want to be the best, or the fans? What motivates you the most to keep fighting?
Well, you know what? Right now, I think every day we all wake up, we try to be the best we possibly be, whether we make that actual verbal commitment or not. But every day you want to be a better person, right? You want to improve upon yourself. Any times in life, if I were to sit on the couch and watch TV all day, I feel junky at night. Just like, man, I wasted my day, I wasted my life. And right now, I'm competing in UFC and pushing myself towards winning the title again, pushing myself towards goals of maintaining the title. Those things help give me a reason why I'm up at a certain time, why I eat a certain way. It helps motivate me to make me a better person. And so basically, it's, I think everybody has something in their life that's a catalyst for causing them to move forward and be great. And that's what the UFC does for me. It's what causes me to, not just sit in bed, because, I probably don't have to do much anymore. My kids and family, they're well off enough. But then, would that really be a lifestyle, just sit in bed and do nothing? I can't live with myself. So right now, it's my way of being competitive. And also, too, at this age, I'm only 32, I can still do this. When I get a little bit older and the body starts catching up with me, then I'll move on to something else that's competitive, that, maybe a little bit more cerebral and not so much physical.
Thank you. Good luck in the next fight.
Thank you very much. Listening to you answer that question and having the privilege of calling pretty much all of your fights, would it be safe to say you're in the best place physically and mentally you've ever been in your life?
Yeah, actually, right now, that's one thing that's funny. I keep making a joke that I think heavyweight's mature later in life.
Yeah.
Because I look back at things I did in the past, and just each fight, I keep improving the way I feel. Some of the injuries that I've had have actually gone away and reversed. And it's just figuring things out. And I just wish, obviously you keep saying I wish I had known this back then. But, half the journey is a reward itself, not so much the destination. And yeah, right now, in the gym, I'm able to do stuff now. Again, it's like, before this ache, not that we're still not without our aches and pains, but I do feel at my ultimate best now. Right now, when we're sparring, last night I was sparring with different individuals each for a round. In the past, I never would have done that because I'd been like, oh man, I got a fresh guy around. There's no way I could compete. A year ago, I would do that, but then I wouldn't win anything. Now I'm in there competing and doing very well. And it's funny seeing other people get tired. I'm like, wow, I'm not tired. This guy is. That wasn't me even a couple years ago.
Well, the one thing I will compliment you on is you got huge for Brock, because you wanted to conquer his strength. But then you kind of said, you know what, you used to be all about jiu-jitsu because you're way better than everybody else. Now I'm a great striker. And you know what, I think people are going to have to beat Frank Mir. I'm not going to have to beat them anymore. It seems to me like you're in a spot right now where you're saying, this is what I bring to the octagon. You beat me. I'm not going to worry about what everybody else is doing anymore. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, I think, that statement just shows an alternative mindset, one being very reactive, one being proactive. And I think that's one thing that sometimes having a jiu-jitsu base sometimes hurts you. You watch a lot of guys in the gym roll around and doing jiu-jitsu is very reactive, kind of sit there, wait, my guy makes a mistake and I counter on it. That's not such a great approach, I don't think, anymore. I think being offensive, being aggressive, and more of a wrestling mindset, like, well, I'm going to impose my will upon you. I'm going to direct the elements of this fight, is a much more effective way of competing and just approaching life itself. I'm going to direct the action. I'm not going to sit here and wait to see what's going to happen.
Next question over here.
Hey Frank, I'm a fan from Canada. Came down here to see GSP fight, and I'm going to see your fight in Toronto as well. Just a question, I enjoyed your battles with Brock, and recently you picked Brock to beat Alistair Overeem. Do you think that represents Alistair as being kind of one-dimensional and not having beaten anyone of substance, or do you think that's just how good Brock is?
No, I think basically it comes down to a style fight. If you look at Alistair Overeem, he's one of the most decorated strikers we have in the heavyweight division. He's won the K1, he's a very strong, powerful striker. That being said, he has to defend the shot of Lesnar. And pretty much this is coming down to about as close as you can get to it now, where it's a grappler versus a striker. It doesn't work out for the striker very often. I mean, you have a few exceptions to the rule. There's Anderson Silva. But if you go on a list of 100 strikers versus 100 grapplers, 98 of the wrestlers are going to win because they control the position, they're going to get the takedown. That's why everybody in the UFC is training our wrestling abilities, because that dictates where the fight's going to happen. Whether you want to keep the fight on your feet or whether you don't. I just don't see how Alistair, who is going to stop Lesnar's takedown. Lesnar, I think, having the fight with King Velasquez is actually going to work out to his benefit. Maybe before the Velasquez fight, he would have walked out with Overeem and maybe just thrown a jab, moved his head, and thought he could throw a couple strikes. And that might have been gotten in trouble. Sometimes a little bit of knowledge is a very dangerous thing. But I think now, after the Velasquez fight, doing the little, disco dance he did, I think he realizes he doesn't want to exchange with people. So I think that actually made Brock more dangerous. I think now he's just going to basically blast one jab, cover up, put his head in his chest, and run him into the cage, and rip his legs out from underneath him, and then it's going to be, you know, lights out.
And just one more quick question, if you don't mind. Speaking of GSP and injury, and Brock had health problems, I happen to be a physician in Canada, and I know the UFC just did a really nice thing with that healthcare plan for their fighters, and I commend them for that. Can you tell me what it's like in terms of major injuries and the financial cost that gets incurred, and if that's a deterrent for fighters that aren't maybe at the marquee level like yourself?
Well, no, I mean, right now we're so much better because in the past, I remember, even in the beginning of my career, you get a cut and you're like, well, you know, I can go down to UFC and, you know, insurance, or even if I don't, it's going to be, you know, almost $300 by the time I'm done with the medical bills. Or I can have my buddy here, pinch my eye closed, and put some super glue over the top of it. I've been there, you know, and so that's
a CVS quick.
You know, new skin, it works. You know, or you sit there and something's clicking and you're like, you know, just go to the doctor and check it out, nah. And then all of a sudden you train on it, and boom, now you have a major injury. Now with the way the insurance is set up, if you have something that's not feeling right, not that you're going to go to the doctor very ache and pain, but you know, as a fighter, as an athlete, you kind of know, like, man, that doesn't feel right. I don't think my knee should be buckling like that. And now you can go get it checked out, and if it is something major, get it fixed, or you can have it be a preventative thing, and now you don't have to pull out of the fight. You don't have to sit there and now you lose money, you lose fan base, you're causing all kinds of problems. All around, it's an awesome thing. I see no drawbacks to it whatsoever.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much. Hey, just to let you guys know, we got about 2 more questions. We can listen to this man. He's so cerebral and intelligent all day long, but we have to set up for the THQ demonstration at the top of the hour for UFC Undisputed 3. So we'll fire 1 more from each side and then get ready for the top of the hour. Don't forget, weigh-in start at 4 o'clock. Go ahead, sir.
Hey guys, I'm Nick from New York. Just a quick question. If you could train in any fight camp with any fighter, Frank, who would it be, or where would you want to go?
Well, I mean, obviously, I'm very partial to the camp I have now. Gifford, Ricky Lindell, Drysdale, you know, I have, you know, Whitehead, a lot of guys I feel the best for me. But obviously, taking that into consideration, I'd probably go down to Jackson's, to be honest with you. I mean, that guy really seems to, you know, have a lot of it down, you know, as far as the guys he has surrounded around him and the game plans he has. To sit in the room, kind of talk to him for a little bit, you know, you guys are very good, you know, like they call him Yoda, you know, it's for a reason.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you very much. Next question, final question over here, please.
Hey, how's it going, Frank? Mike.
How are you?
I'm Mike from here in Vegas. I was going to ask about your article about Lesnar easily being Overeem with the guy already asked. So I'm just going to ask this simply. Assuming you beat Nogueira again, and for whatever reason, if Overeem beats Brock, would you like to match up with Overeem?
Oh yeah, I would love to be able to fight Overeem. I think he's, you know, I think that actually Overeem would be a harder fight. He has a better chance against me than he does with Brock just because of styles. My shot's not where Brock's shot is. I'm more willing to stand and trade, move around, so a little more rounded than what Brock is. So I think it makes it a much more exciting fight for Overeem than it would be, you know, for him to face Brock. I just don't see that fight staying on its feet for more than, you know, it takes for him to get across the octagon.
Exactly. And one quick question, I don't know if it's ever been asked of you, but we know because of the motorcycle injury that you suffered 7-8 years ago while you were heavyweight champ, you were supposed to fight Andre Arlovsky. And that's a matchup that I feel we fans got robbed of. And I know both of you have taken different directions in your career, but whether now or back then, can you tell us how you would have approached that fight with Arlovsky? And if for whatever reason now he comes back to the UFC, would you like to fight him?
Oh, absolutely. I would love to fight him. In fact, actually, every time Arlovsky fights, I'm always rooting for him because I want him to do well. I've always been a huge fan. I think that striking-wise, offensively, he was one of the best heavyweights we've ever had. The guy danced around through combinations, rapid fire speed. I was a fan of his watching him fight. At that time in my career, I couldn't have stood up with him at all. I would have to immediately try to get the fight to the ground, which he was very swift, and he was also, you know, very good sambo practitioner. So that wasn't necessarily going to guarantee victory there either. Nowadays, I think that his striking has actually gone down because, you know, for whatever reason, wear and tear on the chin doesn't seem to take the same shot he was able to. And my striking obviously has improved drastically since those years ago.
Just a bit. Thanks a lot, Frank. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I love the word trilogy, so if that happens again with Brock Lesnar, it would be great for everybody. Big round of applause for the former UFC heavyweight champion.